Madison testified, and she was stabbed in the stomach.
And were you about the same in July of 2022?
Maybe 115.
Were you tubing on the river that day with friends?
I was.
And were you drinking alcohol?
I was.
Using any other substances?
I was smoking marijuana.
The testimony is that everybody was smoking weed and drinking.
And do you believe you're intoxicated?
I do, yes.
Was that your first time tubing on the river?
I've been on the river before, but I've started at different points with friends, so I've never really been on that part of the river.
Okay.
Incidentally, you'll never catch me on the Apple River.
What do you remember at some point along the river that something catching your group's attention?
Not specifically mine. I was just kind of hanging out with my friends on the tube, and we had stopped, and so I kind of asked why we were stopping. And I heard somebody mention something about a group looking uncomfortable. I hadn't got off right away, so.
Did you walk over after some other folks?
I did. I kind of was like, what's going on? And then I had told Janelle, like, let's kind of go over there and see what's going on.
Now, to her point, you wouldn't really expect to see somebody on the river with a knife. I mean, that's not, or any kind of weapon, really. Because what are you doing on the river? You're just kind of, you got your sandals on because it's a rocky bottom, and you got your swimsuit on, and you got your beer in your hand, and you're laying in a tube. That's what you're doing. And it looks like they were kind of at the end of the river, I think, my guess. But you wouldn't expect somebody to have a knife.
And what do you remember everything sequentially perfectly, or is it
It's very choppy for me.
Okay. So what do you remember next?
I remember getting off the tube, walking up to Mr. Miu, and I just remember Maddie being there and yelling at him. I remember her being punched in the face, and then I remember being stabbed, and that is completely it.
So you don't remember, did you see or don't you remember anyone else stabbed?
No.
And do you know if it's because you don't remember, you didn't see, or?
I think I was just focused on myself, doing what I was doing. I was not really paying attention to anybody else at all.
And when you saw Madison get punched, can you explain that in as much details as you remember?
I barely really remember that part. I just remember him staring at us and then not saying anything and punching her, and I was just like shocked, like, oh my God.
Now, what's the best evidence? Her recollection fueled by marijuana and alcohol, or the video? The videos, although the video isn't all that clear either.
And that, right after that, I literally remember being stabbed, and that's it, so.
With him punching her, do you remember any more details than that, like what hand he used
No.
or how the punch was?
Not at all.